Hi, I'm Fran Marie and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you all about my top 10 money saving tips to save you lots of money. So let's get right on with it. The first money saving tip I've got for you is to pay yourself first. Now, this is my favourite money saving tip because it really can save you lots of money over time. So, what does this mean, pay yourself first? Well, this means that you pay yourself before you pay for other things. So, how can you put this into practice? Well, what you need to do is to set up automatic payments from your checkings account to your savings account. As soon as your salary comes in, the money will be transferred into your savings account, so you won't even see it. And this is really great because you don't see the money before it goes into your savings account, so you can almost forget about it, and it will be in there and you will have paid yourself first. So in other words, you're saving first and spending later. So how much should you save? Well, a simple rule of thumb would be around 20% each month. So if 20% is doable for you, then absolutely you should go for 20%. Now, this is using the 50, 30, 20 budgeting approach, whereby 50% of your income goes towards bills, food, other needs, 30% is fun money, and 20% is for the future you. So that will be savings and investments. And I will be making a whole video about budgeting, so you can look for that in the future. Money saving tip number 2 is to track your spending. Now, this is a really great money saving tip because the more conscious you are of what you're spending, the less likely you are to overspend. There are lots of great apps to help you track your spending. If you're in the UK, there's an app called Yolt, and I'll link that down below. And if you're in the US, there's an app called Mint, and I'll link that down below as well. So these tracking apps can be really helpful because they can help you identify the areas where you might be overspending each month. So you might find out you're really overspending on eating out, or you're spending more than you would like to. And then you can think about setting a budget for eating out so that you can focus on getting that cost down each month. So money saving tip number 3 really leads on from step number 2. So in step number 2, you really tracked your spending and figured out what you were spending each month. So tip number 3 is to make a budget and try to stick to it. So you should take some time to sit down and think about what your income is each month and what your outgoings are each month. And it can help to look back over the last 3 months of expenses and income and figure out what you're spending and what your income is each month. So what we're doing here is a bit like step number 2, where we were tracking our spending, but here we're setting some goals, setting some realistic goals for what we would like to be spending each month, and that way we're setting a budget for ourselves. Now, there are some really great budgeting resources, and I will link some of these down below the video. So the aim here is to make a realistic monthly budget and try to stick to it month on month. So if you can do that, if you can make a budget and stick to it as much as possible, that will be a great way to save yourself some money. Money saving tip number 4 is to try not to splurge on payday. So this is leading on from tip number 3. So if you've got yourself a budget and you're trying to stick to the budget, then this should really help you not to splurge on payday, because you shouldn't be running out of money then by the end of the month, and this is what really encourages people to overspend on payday, is if they've run out of money towards the end of the month, they may be encouraged to overspend on payday. If you prioritise paying yourself first and then paying for bills, food and any other expenses, then you'll know what you have left over for any wants. Tip number 5 is to become a smart saver. So for this tip, you should shop around for high interest savings accounts, which will really help you maximise your cash. Another thing that you can do is to take advantage of interest-free savings and investment accounts. For example, in the UK, an ISA, or in the US, a Roth IRA. Saving and investing into these kinds of accounts will really help you maximise your cash. Tip number 6 is to build an emergency fund. Now, this is a really important tip because if you ever run into any unexpected or emergency expenses, then you will need some backup cash to cover this. If you have this emergency fund in place, it will save you from borrowing on a credit card or having to take out a loan. You can start off by saving 1 month of expenses, and then you can build this up to 3 to 6 months depending on your preference. I think 6 months is a really great place to be. Tip number 7 is to go incognito. So what does this mean? Well, going incognito means going incognito on your browser when you're shopping online. So say you're looking at a flight or a hotel online. Often when you look at the flight or the hotel over a number of days, the price will go up and up. So if you use incognito mode, it means that the price won't go up every time you look at the flight, and therefore you'll be able to save yourself a lot of money. And this really helps when you're buying high ticket items because it can mean you save quite a lot of money. So this tip could save you lots of money in the future, and it's something that most of us don't even realise. Tip number 8 is to have a no spend day. So this can be 1 day per week where you try not to spend any money at all. Now, this might seem really difficult, but the way you can approach it is by making a coffee or a tea at home before you leave in the morning and maybe taking it in a keep cup to work with you. You can take a packed lunch to work, and when you get home from work, you can make dinner at home. So it can be easier than you think, and 1 no spend day a week can really make a big difference. If you try 1 no spend day a week and you get on really well, you could even increase this to 2 no spend days a week over time, and it will really make a difference to your wallet. Tip number 9 is to cut your grocery bill. So you might be finding that you're spending a lot of money on groceries each month. So if you can make some savings in this area, it can really help you make some savings overall. So how can you cut down your grocery bill? Well, what you need to do is figure out how much you're spending first of all, and then figure out how you can budget and get this cost down. Now, one big tip that I have for you is to buy unbranded items, because unbranded items can often actually taste just the same or very similar to the branded items, but they can be a lot cheaper and they'll really save you lots of money in the long run. Money saving tip number 10 is to wait before you check out. So this is a strange one. You might think this is really weird, but it's a great money saving tip because all you're doing is waiting to check out, and you might realise that after waiting 24 hours or a a few days or even up to a week, after a week you might decide, actually, that's a really expensive item that I don't need, and therefore you will have saved yourself lots of money just by thinking about it and realising you actually don't need that item. So this cooling off period can really help you to save money because you realise that you might not even really need the item, and just by waiting that extra day or few days or even a week, you might have realised actually you don't want it anymore, and you will have saved yourself lots of money. This is a really great tip because it helps you with that impulsive spending, and it means you can save extra money each month. Okay, so we've come to the end of my money saving tips video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope you got lots of money saving tips out of it. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!